Welcome to the 21st episode of Global Heatmap. This is an initiative by USI of India where we take you through important international and strategic issues of last week and analyze that to update all the candidates who are appearing for any competitive exam. In today's episode, we will analyze Russia-Ukraine war intensifying, what are the chances of peace, and what is happening in various stakeholders and the kinds of meetings which are going on. Situation in the Middle East, including Syria, Gaza, and what is happening between Iran and US. The tariff and trade war, which is full-blown as of now. Similarly, we will also be talking about why Nepalese people are calling for monarchy after being a democratic country. As far as Russia-Ukraine war is concerned, after President Trump took over, the dynamics has changed in a big way because the perception of the Trump administration and Biden administration has been quite different. So after the takeover, there was a defense secretary, the new defense secretary, he spoke in Brussels. Thereafter, there was Munich conference. There was thereafter Zelensky-Trump summit, which didn't go off very well. And thereafter, we saw the pause in US military aid and intelligence sharing. These are the things which have been covered very well by media in various forms. Now, let me analyze these and make out as to what is the strategy of United States as far as and other stakeholders for doing what they are doing. Firstly, let's talk about the United States. United States, if we have to see whatever they have rolled out so far, a few things stand out very clearly. US feels that the main threat is China. They need to disengage from Europe and Ukraine. They need to concentrate on Indo-Pacific. They do not want to get involved in a third world war or a nuclear war with Russia. They do not want to send troops in Ukraine, and those NATO countries or the European countries who want to send there or support Ukraine, whether it is in the form of peacekeepers or it is in the form of the actual fighters, they will not be covered under Article 5. That is what the stand is, because US is not interested in getting dragged into the conflict which has no end. Similarly, if we have to look at, and they want the conflict to end, and if it ends, they want it to end it in a manner that they can get the best out of Ukraine in terms of their mineral resources. They can also get the best out of Russia in terms of various deals, because Russia is also a very resource-rich country, and given a choice, President Trump would like to utilize their resources as well. As far as Ukraine is concerned, they knew that it is a proxy war. They were fighting on support of United States, but they continued to play a narrative which was played up by the Biden administration. Initially, everybody was talking Putin must lose. That is Biden administration as well as European. But thereafter it changed to Putin must not win. And now the problem is how they can save themselves and how can they save the losses in Ukraine and somehow come out of this situation in a manner that their security is not threatened. Everyone was fighting in a manner that they should continue fighting till the last Ukrainian standing, because they don't have to send the troops, they only have to send the money. And so that is how the Europeans were fighting. Similarly, if you see their potential to fight, especially the European countries, from whatever combat strength they had after Second World War during the peak strength, if you compare what is the combat strength which they have today, it is almost about 5 to 10% only. So therefore, President Trump is right when he says that they were using NATO umbrella to save their money, not to spend adequately on defense, and use the shield of NATO to pursue their own economic interests. And therefore, he is trying to say that no, they must spend more. If they want security, then they should firstly manage their own security and spend more. So this is how NATO is placed. And now there is a fair amount of turbulence in NATO. They are making a lot of statements which make good optics, like French president saying that, okay, I will extend the nuclear umbrella, or we should have a debate in extending the nuclear umbrella, but the implications are grave because Russians will not take it kindly, number one. And number two, it doesn't mean anything because in any case, nobody is fighting a nuclear war. And so long they don't send their soldiers to fight in Ukraine, I don't think the balance is shifting. And that would actually amount to Third World War, for which America is not ready. And America, if they choose to send their soldiers, America will not cover it under Article 5. And minus America, they cannot fight. That is the reality, which they are trying to somehow hoodwink by giving various kinds of assurances to Zelensky and giving various kinds of statements in various forums. Now, if they start doing the capability development from now onwards, they will take at least a couple of decades to reach a level where they can give a fight to Russia at their own. So that is the case. And also, there is no doubt that Russia has been weakened, adequately weakened. But notwithstanding that, Russian threat was overhyped, and the narrative was not played up to the tune of to benefit certain arms dealers and energy giants and things like that. So this is how it has played up. Now we see there are various peace proposals which are everybody is talking peace in a manner that there have been various summits in Europe. There is a summit happening, not summit. There is a Zelensky is meeting the Crown Prince in Saudi Arabia now, and US and Ukraine teams are meeting now after US and Russian teams have met, and they have basically laid some kind of ground rules as to how they should be going about for further negotiation. And I don't think anything much has materialized so far. We are yet to see the outcome of this meeting. Notwithstanding that, the battlefield situation is deteriorating for Ukraine. Russians have hyped up their attack and offensive in all fronts. They have launched a very innovative attack in Sudza or in Kursk region, and in that they have used a very innovative method of moving troops through the gas pipeline and appearing at a place to surprise the Ukrainians. We are yet to see as to how much surprise they were actually able to achieve because of lack of information. But notwithstanding that, from the satellite pictures, it appears that Kursk, all the troops of Ukrainians in Kursk seems to be getting encircled, and that's a bad situation and a bad news as far as Ukraine is concerned. And Ukraine is rightly so crying for peace. The other major weakness of NATO, which has come to light, is that they never had a conflict termination strategy. Just by saying that we will fight as long as it takes and Putin must lose, that is not a strategy. And I don't think, although they knew that their soldiers are not fighting, it's a proxy war, but still this strategy is inadequate. They should have prepared for all other kinds of strategy. In case of Russia, although they had major setbacks in the beginning in terms of heavy manpower and tank casualties and their military hardware casualties, but they learned their lessons a little faster in a manner that they occupied a viable defense line along Dnieper River, and thereafter they've been quite calculative and they hiked up their defense production beyond limits. So therefore, they are in a better position as far as the ground situation is concerned. As far as their strategy is concerned, it was absolutely focused in a manner that they wanted to capture Donbass and capture areas to make it a linguistic boundary or enforce a linguistic boundary. Also have a land corridor between Donbass and Crimea, and also try to cut off Ukraine from the Black Sea, which they are yet to achieve. So if we read between the lines, Russians have not given any peace plan so far. They keep saying that yes, we are ready for peace, but their aims are not yet fully met. They have to throw out Ukrainians from Kursk. They would also like to make some gains in Odessa and Zaporizhia, and once they feel that Ukraine has been reasonably cut off, they would perhaps be thereafter in a much stronger position to come onto the negotiation table. Coming on to the Middle East, a lot has happened in Syria. Various forces, whether it is United States or Western forces or Israel, everybody propped up the HTS, and the HTS gunmen initially said, and once they got the rule, Jolani initially said that I will be fair to everyone, and we will develop towards inclusive Syria and take care of all the segments of the society. But last week, a fair amount of killings have happened of the Shias and Alawites and all the erstwhile Assad supporters, and also the security forces which were there with the Assad regime. Now we find that more than 1,000 people have been killed, and out of that, ladies and children again are maximum. So therefore, it's not that they are only targeting the security forces of the Assad regime. Up now, I think the situation would be perhaps the Jolani is trying to give an impression that he's trying to control the situation, and he is trying to control the revenge killing. At the same time, he is also trying to tell others to lay down the arms, so that there is only one armed forces in the country, and he is being supported by many others. We do find that a number of Alawites took shelter in the Russian bases, which are yet to be evacuated fully. So there are Russians there as well. At the same time, the others, there have been developments to the benefit of NATO in a manner that Turkey has also gained. One of the factions, that is PKK, is their leader is saying that they should surrender and not raise arms and things like that. So perhaps Turkey seems to gain from this situation as well. So that is as far as Syria is concerned. Now, when we look at Gaza, the first phase of ceasefire is over. That truce, the first phase is over. The second phase has not yet started. But the Israelis have blocked all the aid to Gaza, and they've also blocked the electricity to Gaza today. Now, considering that there are contradictory demands in a manner that Israelis and US is saying that you release all the hostages. I am given to understand that there are 24 alive and there are 34 bodies or something like that, some such figure. Nobody knows the exact figure. But if that be so, but Hamas is not in a mood to release them because they think that that is the last trump card. So they are saying that Israel must evacuate and must move out of Gaza, and then only, and the second phase of the truce must start, and then only we will talk about the release of hostages. President Trump has also threatened Hamas, but I don't think that threat has played up, and Hamas is still reluctant to release any more hostages unless some of their demands are also met. So therefore, the truce remains fragile. As far as the peace plan for Gaza is concerned, everybody has a plan. President Trump had a plan to make a Rivera out of the Gaza Strip. Arabs have a plan under the initiative of Egypt, and OIC has also, Organization of Islamic Countries, has also endorsed that plan, wherein they feel that Gazans should not move out of Gaza, whereas Trump plans is that Gazans should move out of Gaza and it should be absolutely vacant to be developed. So these are the two major differences between these two plans. But everybody is making plan, but nobody is asking Gazans who do not want to leave Gaza at all. So I don't visualize that any of these plans will work unless there is some consensus as to how they are going to deal with so many people of Gaza in a just and, shall I say, dignified manner. So we will have to wait and see as to what happens next. Similarly, there is also some development on the Iran front. President Trump, who moved out of the JCPOA, now wants to have a deal with Iran, whereas Ayatollah Khomeini has refused it, that he doesn't want to have a deal because he doesn't trust US, number one, and number two, no deal till the time some sanctions are lifted. So these are the two major conditions because of which Iran is rejecting those deals. President Trump is threatening, and so is Israel, that they may strike Iran. Iran is also playing up their underground capabilities and has shown some underground capabilities. And there is also power play on display in a manner that they are holding an exercise. The Iran, Russia, and China, they are holding an exercise in Gulf to show solidarity towards this resistance against United States unilateral movements. Similarly, the other major change which happened after President Trump came up was the war on tariffs and his initiatives on tariffs. As we know, he announced 25% tariffs for Canada and Mexico, 20% for China. Everybody decided and said that they will retaliate. He has paused some of them, that is for Canada and Mexico, till 2nd of April. Let's see what happens thereafter. He is also talking of reciprocal tariff to many countries. India is also affected accordingly. in a manner that he is accusing India for a very high tariff, and India is looking at a comprehensive trade deal, whereas we don't talk about tariff to tariff, but we talk of a comprehensive trade deal which benefits both parties. And India is also ready to accommodate the interest of United States, provided United States accommodates our interest. And India is now looking at and seeking time for this accommodation up to September. Let's see how the Americans respond. Interestingly, in our neighborhood, the Nepalese people are calling for monarchy. Now, if the viewers may recall, the royal family in 2001 was massacred by their own member, and then Gyanendra became the king, and he tried to rule the country with a iron hand, and there were protests in 2006, and thereafter he gave into democracy, and therefore the democracy came into being. So everyone thought that that is a good change for Nepal, but then the fact is that the politicians have messed it up. There have been large scale corruptions, there has been tremendous instability. In 16 years there have been 13 governments which have changed, and therefore and all the economic parameters, unemployment parameters, and everything is poor. And that's how we find that a situation is that people are so fed up that they want the monarchy to come back again. Although we do not give, as analysts, we don't give that many credentials to King Gyanendra, and I don't think the monarchy can bring any solution to their problems. But then the fact is that this is the kind of interesting development which has taken place in our neighborhood, which remains, which chooses to remain unstable for political. So this is what happened this week, the important things, and we will come back with the analysis of the developments which happened next week. Thank you.